now, as you put your programs into place and you form your programs, what was the biggest obstacle you faced in going from, okay, I want health, happiness, and love, to, okay, let's get a program going? As you look back on it, you're all in various stages of development in your wellness programs. What was the biggest obstacle you faced? Rob, let's start with you.
Our program is relatively new. We started last summer. So it's a work in process, like me. You look at these fit people. Like me, I'm a work in process. But we did a little different. I mean, we kind of made it a splash. I mean, we wanted to make it really incentivize people to get involved and to do it. And so we did something a little unique. We offered a bike. So you got a Trek bike, a helmet, and a lock if you'd participate and do the assessment, or we'd pay you $100. So out of our employees, we gave out 87 Trek bicycles, and we had 2 employees out of the entire company that did not participate at all. So we had really good response. The problem I see now going into this year is, okay, what are you going to do this year? Because we've already heard that a little bit. Well, last year we got a bike. What are we getting this year? So I'm not sure yet what my problem or what we're going to have, but that's where I see our biggest problem is this year's incentive.
The biggest hurdles we had in launching it was, like most of you, you're going to have some people who are going to be skeptical. I have a large population of engineers, and so we have conspiracy theorists and skeptics amongst us. And so what I had to do is make sure that I made the message reachable for everybody. And so for certain people who were more numbers driven, we made things more numbers driven. We gave them the facts, we gave them the statistics. For others that connected more on an emotional level, we tried to find members that more emotionally connected, who believed in this in their every ounce of being. That was the first hurdle. The other hurdle for us is we're very spread out, 24 offices in 10 different states, and it's hard to make sure everyone's feeling the same message. And so, time, space, and also just the fact that they work so many hours. So we decided that in each location, we'd let it have a different feel to cater to that state or that region or that territory, as long as we still had a common theme going through our overall program. So we are still overcoming those hurdles, and it will always kind of be that way.
Like anything, I think budget and time are sometimes considered obstacles, and actually one of those was an obstacle, and one of them turned out not to be an obstacle at all. And quite honestly, the budget aspect, when we got started, we thought, okay, we're going to need to have money to incentivize people and different things. We're going to need to pay people to come in and help us with this. And it's amazing how many free resources are out there. Mr. Nick Neitzel over from the Wisconsin Athletic Club had been a great help to us in terms of outlining, free to us options and the considerations. So the budget, while we thought that was going to be an obstacle, actually turned out not to be, because if you get creative and look around and reach out, there's a lot you can do that costs nothing. The one obstacle that I do think is hard when you have an employee-run wellness program like ours is time. We are a client service business, therefore our clients come first. So sometimes we neglect ourselves based on that. So people have done a tremendous job of basically working over lunch hours and putting their time in to make this successful. But it does take time to think through some of these things and organize things when you're organizing events or programs or incentives. So time can sometimes be an obstacle, but you can also work your way around that too.
Tyler?
We had some of the same obstacles that Tina mentioned a moment ago. I think one of our biggest ones is the fact that we are spread out across the country and actually globally, but our wellness program really focuses just domestic. So we've got about 30 locations in about 15 different states. So how do we get this message out to all of these people in a way that's going to be consistent, that's going to be clear, and going to be impactful for them? That was a big challenge, and one of the things that we've done to try to address that is to identify people at each of those locations that can really help to customize the program to that area and to that population. So we've got folks in California that have a big Spanish-speaking population, so we're able to try to accommodate them the best we can. We've got folks in the Northeast, in the South, and in the Central. So we've got locations across the country, and that really does present a challenge just to try to get that message out to all those people. The other big challenge that we faced, and again, like Tina mentioned, are the skeptics. What are you doing with this information? Why are you collecting this? And how is this going to affect me either by my insurance or my employment going forward? And that really was a big one when the program first started. And I think Rexnord has done a pretty good job of sort of calming people's fears with that. We partner with an outside contractor to do a lot of the screenings and the assessments so that it's all kept separate. So Rexnord is never going to see anybody's personal data. All Rexnord will see is the aggregate data so that we can make a program that's going to be appropriate for the health risks that our population faces. So that's one thing that I can say is that if you can separate, if you can have somebody from outside do the collection, I think that's going to help put people's minds at ease a little bit. And the issues still come up. Actually, I just was in a conversation yesterday. One of our locations in Tennessee, it's a union population. Some people were laid off back in 2009, and they started to think, well, wait a minute, those people that were laid off, they weren't necessarily the healthiest people, and we think that maybe you laid them off because of their health risks. So we're going to bring somebody in from outside, from our contractor, to go down there and kind of go through the process, the step-by-step, the privacy, how it's all kept separate. And, you know, just personally, if we think about it, maybe the people that were not the healthiest were also maybe not the best employees. And maybe that's why they were selected for layoff. So, you know, there's all kinds of things that go into that, but that skepticism has been a big challenge that Rexnord has faced.
Before Alan goes, Tyler, have you noticed anything, even if anecdotally, that is unique to the Wisconsin region of your operation in terms of participation or employee perceptions of wellness? Is there anything unique about Wisconsin that you can quantify?
Yeah, well, you know, Wisconsin is actually, Rexnord is based here in Milwaukee, corporate offices in Milwaukee, and we've got the most employees from across the country. Most of them are here in Wisconsin. Many of you may be familiar with the Falk Corporation. Falk is part of Rexnord. So there's about 700 employees just right there. So we've got about 1,200 here. I think one of the things that helps with that is because I'm so close as the health promotions manager, I think people have more contact with me, the folks here in Wisconsin, because I can get out to those locations a little bit more easily. There's a little bit more trust there in that it is going to be run confidentially. It is going to be run to meet their needs, to sort of provide a service for them. You know, the other thing that I think a lot of times people wonder is, you know, why are they doing this, and is this just going to be to needle out, you know, certain individuals? And I think we've done here in Wisconsin a good job of saying, this program is for you. This program is a benefit to you. It's a way to help you to understand your own health, to improve your health, and I think they've started to see that, and that's getting out to the other locations, but I think being that we're headquartered here, they see it more here, and the population is more receptive to those kinds of things.
Okay, Alan?
I guess I'd like to start with reinforcing the concept of wellness, in that there's three components of wellness. One would be exercise or physical. The other component is the medical aspect, so your physical bodily health, and the third is spiritual or mental. In the case of our company, we started our program in really early 2009, and we had no place to begin. We're a business of only about 60 people right now. We were about 40 people back then. And we're just brainstorming, what do we do? And as a small business, we all wear way too many hats, and we're all busy with all kinds of things. And fortunately, I had been introduced to a personal trainer a couple years previous, Coach Ray, and it served as the perfect opportunity for me to bring a gentleman that's got a very strong physical training background, and as well as a great personality to bring to our business and engage our employees. So by hiring this individual for a modest fee to come in a few times a week, he brought with him a bag of tricks that were really inexpensive. So physical training doesn't have to come from $20,000 of fitness equipment. It can come out of a gym bag full of rubber bands and standing on one foot. And if you engage your employees with these very simple tools and allow them to see where their shortcomings are, it helps them buy in on the next steps. So our program was very difficult to get off the ground. Coach Ray helped us get started. Later it's morphed into a much more professional organization where we have 3 different trainers coming in 6 days a week to work with our employees. And our tools have advanced beyond there. But from the physical aspect, from the strength aspect, that's where we began. And then we've now backed into the, let's call it the bodily health component through biometric screening and health risk assessments.